Hi friends, welcome back to another edition of Making the Most with MG. In my last video, we wrapped up discussing the 4 functions of behavior, otherwise known as why my child is behaving the way they are. The 4th and final function was tangibles, and we all know that when we talk about children wanting something, whether it's a toy, candy, a turn at a video game, that they will act out negatively to get what they want. In this video, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about how you can use those tangible items that your child desires in a positive way so that you can shape behavior so that it's more appropriate. There is not a single person out there who has not exhibited positive behavior for a tangible payout. I want you to think, for example, of your job. You signed up to go to work every single day and do what's expected of you, what has been outlined in your responsibilities. And as long as you're doing that, at the end of the week, you get your paycheck, which is a tangible recognition for doing what you're supposed to. And then you can take that money to pay your bills, go out to eat, hang out with friends, whatever it is that you choose to spend it on. But the key is you keep going and you keep doing what is expected of you, because as long as you do, you will continue to get that payout. Okay, the very first step in using a tangible item to reinforce or reshape behavior is to first identify the behavior that you are looking to modify. So it could be that you are looking to change a behavior to something that's more appropriate or to encourage a behavior that wasn't present. For example, let's say every time you're in the middle of talking, if your child wants to say something, they walk up to you and they hit you to get your attention. So the first thing that you're identifying is that the hitting behavior is inappropriate and you are selecting a replacement behavior that would be more appropriate, such as tapping you and saying, "Excuse me." The next step is deciding on what you want your tangible item to be to use as a reinforcer when your child has an appropriate behavior, such as they tap you and say, "Excuse me," rather than hitting you to get your attention. So let's think back to you getting a paycheck at the end of every week for doing your job. Now, if you were instead paid in, I don't know, bananas or something like that, and you're allergic to bananas, that tangible item is not as large of a reinforcer as money would be, because you can't pay your bills with bananas and you can't even eat them because you'll have an allergic reaction. So you may not work as hard or meet all of the conditions because that payout at the end isn't as wonderful as getting a paycheck to spend however you decide. It's the same concept. So you need to know what is going to inspire your child to change this behavior or modify it. It could be something like 5 extra minutes on a video game. It could be an M&M every time they exhibit the behavior. It could be something that they're working toward. You know, it really is up to you and what you're willing to give and what means something to them. The final piece of putting all of this together is your frequency. So what you need to determine is how often your child is going to get their tangible payout for exhibiting the replacement behavior that you're teaching them. Now, a few things to keep in mind when you're thinking of frequency is, in the beginning, you want to do it more often. And that's because you're trying to get them into the habit of doing that behavior. So, for example, your child who is hitting you and you want the replacement behavior to be tapping you to get your attention and saying, "Excuse me," you're going to want to give a tangible reinforcer initially every single time that they're doing that. And then once it's happening consistently enough, you can scale it back so that it's not every time. Maybe it's every other time or every 5 times. And ultimately, what your goal is that the behavior will remain and the tangible item will decrease until ultimately it's gone altogether. All right, so piecing this all together, first, You're identifying the behavior that you're looking to modify and what replacement behavior you would like to see. Second, you're finding that jackpot tangible item that your child really wants to work for. And step three, the frequency. You're determining how often you are going to give the payout for doing the appropriate behavior. So there it is in a teeny tiny little nutshell, how you can use tangible items to modify behavior. Just keep in mind it's a process and it's not going to happen right away. And you may need to adjust your tangibles as they lose meaning to your child, or you may need to adjust your frequency if it's too easy for the child to get the tangible item or it's too hard, because you want it to be manageable. And remember, get your child's input too, because the more buy in you have from them, the easier it's going to make your life. So until next time, have a great day and stay safe.